"36,000 years ago, deep in a limestone cave, Ice Age artists gathered charcoal and red ochre, and they painted mammoths and lions, and they painted horses. Humans and horses have carved out the world history together. For thousands of years, horses and humans have cultivated and nurtured and evolved their relationship. Ancient myths and stories from cultures worldwide speak of a shared connection between women and horses. Horses have been a part of Hawaiian culture since the Europeans arrived. An equine subculture thrives on the island of Kauai, and a lot of women are involved. So what's the deal with women and horses anyway?
You know, when a woman relates to the horse, if I notice this, they're more loving and caring. And like this trainer told me one day, he says, you know, you're gonna love your horse like the girls love their horses, you know, and you're more passionate and caring.
You know, it tends to be that women, little girls, women of all ages tend to love horses.
No, I see that girls and horses have a heart connection. I think above all, it's really that we vision ourselves as horses, not in the physical sense, but in that same freedom. The ability to run and be free, the ability to enjoy life.
I think their intelligence and they're sentient beings. They are connected. They are connected to us for thousands of years, number one, but number two, in a non-verbal conversation all the time. And it is very difficult to put into words because it's nonverbal, because it's a sense, it's a feeling.
My daughter Karin always forms an amazing bond with almost every horse or pony she comes in contact with. She has problems communicating with people, but with horses, it's a different story.
You just look a horse in the eyes, and they are lovable. If you pet a horse on the neck and you smell a particular smell that a horse has, and your favorite horse tends to always kind of like you, come to you, know you. I guess respect you, trust you. For me, being able to ride a horse, it's a sense of well-being, a sense of being able to be in that moment with that large animal that has so much power, so much bigger than I am, so much stronger than I am. And be able to work with that animal, that we are of one.
When you can just sit with a horse without trying to make it do anything, just be with the horse, they can tune into you and reflect back to you what's going on with you, non-verbally.
when does a little girl's connection with horses actually begin?
When you wake, you will find all the pretty little horses, Dapple and Gray, Pinto and Bay, all the pretty little horses. La 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 all the pretty little horses.
And how does a little girl's dream become a woman's reality?
When we were young kids, my dad had this family ranch that's been a hobby and just a getaway place for him to go and unwind after work and on weekends. And that was something that he also wanted for us to become ranchers and follow in his footsteps, in which we all enjoyed doing that. It was hard work, but we enjoyed it very much.
We all started at a young age. Before we could, I think, crawl even, my dad would put us on horseback and, just ride around holding us. And eventually, as we got to walk or sit up on our own and be able to hold on, he would lead us around. And maybe by 2-3 years old, if we could handle the horses, control them by ourselves, then he would let us just ride around the yard or, where he was around to just make sure we were safe and just let us ride. And eventually, as we got older, he would take us out on the ranch to go check the fence lines or even to round up cattle, or just maybe put us in one area and just say block over here so the cows don't run here. That was my job. I remember when I was small, just ride a little ways down, okay, wait here till the cow comes, and then when they pass, then you can come out. So it was a young, very young age.
We lived way up a valley, and unless my mom drove the car, there was no other means of transportation other than go and get your horse with my sister, and we would meet all of the cousins from their ranches on down the river, and then we'd have to all ride back home. Oh yeah, we had a lot of good horse races down the back road. The big major rodeos that every community has once a year. A contest of the rodeo queen. We would be part of the rodeo performance. There were always good prizes. In the winter, the snow was there. We used a horse to go and gather the milk cows. So that was always a reason for me to go get on my horse and bring in the milk cows.
Betsy Knudsen Toulon is a fourth-generation descendant of the Eliza Sinclair clan that settled on West Kauai and Niihau Island in the mid-1800s. The family brought cattle and horses to Kauai. The Sinclair women were excellent horsewomen, and they ranched, herded cattle, and rode up into the high mountain terrains. That legacy, skill, and love of horses continues to be a part of Betsy's life.
My grandmother actually started out riding, the way women had to, a side saddle. And then as she got older and they started riding more up in the mountains, which is pretty rugged, because they had mostly just trails. And so she said, I'm going to ride astride. So she had some pantaloons made, I think. full ones, like a lot of the young women did in those days. So she's ended up riding astride. Well, the Hawaiian women, though, when they started riding, they always rode astride, even in their great flowing paniolo skirts. So finally the white women got smarter and said, for heaven's sakes, why don't we ride astride too? Safer. Well, Ann and I grew up riding, and we each had just a horse of our own. I remember the first horse I ever owned was a little gray mare called Gray, of all things. And we lived up at the Gap, just at the end of the tree tunnel. My father had a small plantation, which took in most of the land right around us, and we had a house up there that we lived in. But my little old Gray, she lived forever. So finally I told Papa, I said, that my little gray mare, she was a very slow walker. We'd be riding up Mauka. I'd be a mile behind, say. Brother Val would say, Betsy, catch up. So my little gray mare would start trotting, and she always dragged her hind feet. So I was riding in a cloud of dust. Well, I loved her.
Women who love horses often include their horses in their work. Clinical social worker Karin Stoll volunteers with Healing Horses Kauai.
Well, as we do with new riders, we want to teach him safety first when he's around the horse. We want to introduce him to the horse and let him put his hands on the horse so the horse then knows who he is. We love to take them through the grooming process so that it's not all about getting in a saddle. It's about spending time with this animal, this magnificent being that is looking down one eye at this little boy and sizing him up. While the little boy sizes Prince up, that was Prince that we were working with today. Prince is sizing him up, and there's a conversation going on, even though it's not verbal and it's not necessarily out in the open. It is on an emotional level. So I took him through the process without, he's 5, so we weren't going to have him haul a saddle, or the most tack he carried was his bridle, and he felt really good. It's about building esteem with these children. It's about allowing them to be in charge of something. Stop your horse, what do you say?
Whoa.
Whoa. Would you like to ride backwards? It's really fun. It's all about teaching balance, realigning for children who have problems like cerebral palsy or a brain injury or some kind of muscular dystrophy. They gain balance by doing these exercises on top of a moving horse. And if they did nothing but just sit there and the horse walks in one direction, makes a turn, walks in the other direction, their little limbic system in their brain is balancing with the methodical walk, the rhythm of the horse's 4 hooves. Teaching him a little skill, he learned how to comb a tail, and for him, he walks away saying, wow, that looks better. And that's, all it's about.
With any lesson that I teach, we start with just a calmness and a presence and a good breathing and be here now, so that the rider and the horse blend. So one of my belief systems for riding is that you need to be present. You need to have a focus, you need to know what you're doing and know what your vision is for the lesson, for the ride, for the communication. We work with lots of different elements of the body and of the eyes, the brain, the eyes, the seat, the legs, the hands, and the voice in order to communicate to the horse. Horses feel us. Horses see pictures in their brain that we see. And so when we're clenching a jaw, it actually changes our whole body. It can tighten the leg, it can tighten the shoulder, it can tighten the buttocks. Then the horse is feeling all of those subtle things. If you think about how a horse can wiggle its skin and feel a fly and get a fly off, they can certainly feel every little nuance of us as riders. So my wedding company is Joyful Ceremonies. You know, wedding day is such a special time, and so you want everything clean and perfect, and so we scrubbed these horses and we scrubbed the tack, and we made sure that the tack, the horse equipment, is all perfect for these horses. I made sure that there were little conchos, which little metal pieces that were on the bridles that had hearts. And every little part of the preparation was there. Joyful Ceremonies is, again, helping people create those dreams and create the joy that they want for their wedding day.
Rodeos and trail rides naturally involve women and horses.
So we've really believed in rodeo and bringing rodeo back to Kauai. When we moved to Kauai about 30-some years ago, we built an arena at Waimea at the dairy. So as we started CGM Stables, it didn't take too long for us to build our first arena. About every Sunday has some kind of a rodeo function at the stables. So we don't run our trail rides on Sundays. We say that's a day for the horses to rest and for us all to play.
A trail ride along Kaloa's South Shore brings up many memories.
You know, I knew Betsy for years, and then I knew her older brother, Valdemar, over 30 years ago.
In fact, I hadn't ridden in ages when Pi gave me that riding as a gift.
95, 96 years old, they said, no, it's too dangerous. Well, there's always, you know, everybody's worried taking her out, but first of all, I know what kind of horse I'm going to put her on.
And Jimmy rode in front of me on a very cute horse. I kept thinking, well, I'd rather be on that horse than what I'm on. They gave me a good old steady horse to ride. He was a nice horse. A nice willing horse and sure-footed.
And we're talking about Valdemar and the ranch. I said, well, let's go up there. Look, went up there to the crowd. She said, oh my, this is the crowd we came. I remember as a kid coming up in branding cattle and driving cattle. Oh, this is so nice.
But they took good care of me.
Having Betsy to come out on a ride, that was a frosting in the cake. The candles lit up, and that was so, so nice.
But you know, once you've learned to ride, you've ridden all your life, you just get on a horse and it feels natural.
Horses are a family affair, in work, in play, and in bonding relationships.
It's absolutely wonderful to have my daughter be so excited to be able to enter this century team roping with me this year in Waimea, because she finally makes the age of 40 and she can rope with me. I love roping with my son, and he just handles them so well, and I'm just so proud of him, how much fun it is to be able to do something with each other and have so much love of doing it.
What I love about riding I guess there's two sides of it. It's one is the competition. It's not so much whether we win or lose. It's just, I guess, striving for something, trying to beat your time from the last time, or the competitiveness against yourself and amongst others, but in a friendly way. And there's also the peacefulness or the relaxation I get from just riding at our pasture, checking the cattle. My son always comes with me.
I love Pony Boy because he took care of me all my years, and that's the first horse that I learned how to ride on. That's the horse that my mom taught me how to ride on. It's kind of special to me.
It's just a bond and a time we get to share together that is very special.
Taylor started riding when she was 3, and she started in the Keiki High School Rodeo Association when she became 5. She's 8 years old right now. It's kind of a commitment, Rodeo is not something you do and put on the side and come back a month later. You got horses to take care of, trucks, trailers, pasture, fences.
Rocky, down. My favorite thing of being a cowgirl is being with my horse. I brush her all the time when I come down. I saddle her up and we go for a ride. Sometimes I talk to her. I love her because she's a beautiful horse and she's good. She's good at barrel racing and pole bending. Yeah, I was like, wow. Well, the horses can sense how you feel, so you just gotta not be nervous. I just take a deep breath and I get right focused.
Actually, I don't really encourage Taylor. She encourages me. She's my motivation. That's all she wants to do is ride. It's just a great feeling to see my child grow up in the outdoors. Taylor loves to be outdoors. She loves animals, all different types of animals, horses, dogs, cattle. It's a great thing to have a child follow our footsteps. We live on a beautiful island. There's so much outdoor activities to do. We gotta take advantage of it.
And what about that connection with all that hair?
I think that when girls first touch a horse and start to comb their manes and their tails, then they even connect more. Not again because of the physical realm, but just because, like that avatar of that horse's tail is part of them, and their hair is the same as the horse's tail.
A woman's ability to nurture, a little girl's ability to pet and love, may be part of all of this, why women, girls are so attached to their horses, of feeling, touching, brushing, petting it.
Some of these guys just put the horses up with these ladies would pet them and tame them and brush them and really comb all the hair out and really take meticulous care of the horses, whereas guys would just load them up and leave them saddled, and a woman would just be so concerned about how these horses were. it's just like one of their pets, and they really take great care of the horses.
If you have a horse with especially long mane that falls to the right, you want to braid it or at least try to, have it so that when you rope and when you dally, that means when you come around the saddle horn, that rope doesn't get caught in their mane because it can pull it out or burn it. My horse's mane, it falls to the left, but because it's so long, it flies up. When she's running, I just braid her mane, and also she has a really long tail. So I braid her tail because some horses, that when they get in the ground, if you don't braid them, they can step on their tail and pull out their tail. So it's a job. I'm like, I'm trying to, sometimes if I'm running late, I'm rushing, I'm like, but I have to braid her mane and tail, and it's maybe 10, 15 minutes. If the rubber bands don't break on me and I have to get another one, or if she's, has a lot of grass or knots because she rolled, just brushing it out and braiding it, but yeah.
Women and horses share a heart connection around companionship, for work, for fun, and for nurturing affection. One thing that women who love horses agree upon is that women and horses share a natural love affair.
Having horses in my life has given me a sense of freedom, sense of being able to go and ride my horse and just be in the moment. I can't believe that I would be this happy of a person without my horses.
I got to, with my horsewomanship skills on him, he's been incredibly patient with me. He gets his act together and then he teaches me. People are more complicated. Horses are like, any pet that you have a relationship with. They love you unconditionally. And you have a long period of time with them. They last about 30 years.
In all of my life, I've helped people create their dreams. That every time they come near a horse, they're teaching themselves and the horse something and growing in joy.
Pure and simple, I love you, baby, pure and simple. It ain't complicated, pure and simple, just like it